there can be no forgiveness without remorse and repentance from the surviving martial law implementers, perpetrators, and beneficiaries. Would you agree with that statement?
Madam Speaker, to clarify, it is not what the Honorable Lagman just mentioned.
Naku po! Stella Kimbo, nakaharap ang napakahusay na veteranong mambabatas na si Edsel Lagman. Stella Kimbo, halos maihisa ka ba? Stella Kimbo, hindi makasagot at siguradong timbog na. Pero bago ang lahat, maaari kayong mag-subscribe para maging updated sa mga issue at bagong mga balita. Pasabog na balita nga ang lumabas nang makaharap ni Stella Kimbo ang veteranong mambabatas na si Congressman Edsel Lagman. Hindi na halos makapagsalita si Stella Kimbo matapos ang sunod-sunod na tanong sa kanya ni Edsel Lagman. At kahit lingon pa ito ng lingon sa kanyang likuran upang makahanap ng tulong, ay talaga namang di niya kinayang depensahan pa ang kasinungalingang pilit niyang pinagtatakpan. Narito ang buong detalye.
First District of Albay.
The Honorable Edsel Lagman is recognized for his interpellation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader. Will the distinguished lady yield to a brief intervention?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
May we know very briefly what is the mandate of the Presidential Communications Office?
Madam Speaker, the PCO shall serve as the primary office of the executive branch in engaging and involving the citizenry and the mass media in enriching the quality of public discourse on all matters of governance. And for this purpose, the PCO shall be responsible in crafting, formulating, developing, enhancing, and coordinating the messaging system of the executive branch and the office of the President, Madam Speaker.
In other words, the mandate of the Presidential Communications Office principally is on the preparation and publication of policy statements of the President on crucial national issues and important events and celebrations.
Madam Speaker, to clarify, it is not what the Honorable Lagman just mentioned is being done by the PMS. What the PCSO does is to disseminate the material produced by the PMS, Madam Speaker.
Anyway, it is involved in the dissemination to the public on crucial issues for
Yes.
the information of the public.
Yes, Madam Speaker, that is correct.
Now, has the Presidential Communication Office made, on behalf of the President, a statement on the 51st anniversary of the Declaration of Martial Law?
No, Madam Speaker.
It has not. The ominous silence from the office of the President on the 51st anniversary of his father's declaration of martial law is both deafening and revealing. It would appear that President Marcos Jr. refuses to acknowledge the very huge elephant in the room, the repression, oppression, and profligacy during the martial law regime. Would you comment on that?
Madam Speaker, The PCO's mandate is to communicate pronouncements from Malacanang. On its own, it cannot make a statement unless made by Malacanang,
Okay.
Madam Speaker.
So there was no directive from Malacanang for the PCO to prepare and publish a statement on the 51st anniversary of the declaration of martial law. Is that correct?
That is correct, Madam Speaker.
Okay. There can be no forgiveness without remorse and repentance from the surviving martial law implementers, perpetrators, and beneficiaries. Would you agree with that statement?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Thank you for the candid answers. I end my interpellation, Madam Speaker and distinguished lady.
Thank you. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Paul Daza, 1st District of Northern Samar.
The Honorable Paul Daza is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you to the honorable sponsor and to the Secretary of the PCO and the other officials who are here. And having no more members of the minority who wish to ask questions, I move to terminate the period of sponsorship and debate for the 2024 budget of the Presidential Communications Office, including attached agencies and corporations.
Madam Speaker, on the part of the majority, we join the minority in the motion to terminate the interpellations on the proposed budget of the PCO, Madam Speaker, including its attached agencies and corporations.
There's a joint motion to terminate the interpellations on the proposed budget of the Presidential Communications Office, including attached agencies and corporation. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The interpellations on the proposed budget of the Presidential Communications Office, including attached agencies and corporations, is hereby terminated. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to suspend session.
Session suspended. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we proceed to the consideration of the proposed budget of the Commission on Higher Education.
There is a motion. Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we acknowledge the presence of heads and officials from the Commission on Higher Education, namely Chairman Prospero E. De Vera III, Commissioner Joe Mark Libre, Commissioner Aldrin Darilag, Commissioner Ronald Adamat, Commissioner Marita Canapi.
We acknowledge the presence of the heads and officials from the Commission on Higher Education. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Janet L. Garin, Vice Chairperson of the Committee on Appropriations, to answer questions on the proposed budget of the Commission on Higher Education.
The Honorable Janet Garin is recognized for sponsorship.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The total appropriations for the Commission on Higher Education for the year 2024 amounts to 31 billion. It is important to note that the majority of this funding, totaling 29.7 billion or 95.8%, will be sourced from new appropriations, while the remaining 1.3 billion or 4.2% will come from automatic appropriations under the Higher Education Development Fund. Comparing this to the previous year, CHED's proposed new appropriation for 2024 represents a 3.9% reduction from the approved new appropriations of 30.9 billion for 2023. However, it is worth mentioning that the Commission's automatic appropriation has seen a significant increase, with 467.4 million, which is 55.5% more than its 2023 approved budget of 841.7 million. Delving into the allocated details, the largest portion of the budget, amounting to 30.3 billion, is earmarked for MOOE, while personal services will receive an allocation of 494.7 million. Despite the 3.9% reduction from previous year's budget, it is crucial to highlight that the proposed budget closely aligns with the priorities and objectives of CHED. Our primary focus is remains on enhancing the quality of education through the Higher Education Development Program, which will receive 29 billion in funding. Despite the agency's relatively modest budget of 30 billion, there have been critics who label the program as unsustainable. Nevertheless, it is crucial that we acknowledge the agency's vital role in shaping the future of our nation. Nakalipas lang ilang araw ay umakyat na naman ng halos 2 piso ang presyo ng gasolina at ito ay sa pangkabuhang mundo at hindi lamang sa Pilipinas. At alam natin na ang kasunod nito ay ang pagtaas ng presyo ng pangunahing bilihin at napakahirap ng buhay para sa karamihan ng ating mga kababayan. Now more than ever, families require support to enable them to send their children to school and ensure their successful completion for their education. As we have discovered during the budget hearings, the agency faces numerous challenges, but we are here to show our unwavering support. Hindi tayo hihinto hangga't hindi mabigyan ng pagkakataon ang bawat bata na makapagtapos ng pag-aaral upang maiahon ang kanyang pamilya mula sa kahirapan. In the bigger picture, as more children are educated and have the opportunity to improve their living conditions, the nation as a whole benefits. A stronger, more educated, and economically empowered citizenry can drive economic growth, social progress, and ultimately contribute to the overall development and prosperity of our country. With that, Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues, we are ready to answer your questions.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we recognize Representative Franz Castro of ACT Teachers Party List for her interpellation.
The Honorable Franz Castro is recognized for her interpellation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Magandang hapon po sa ating mga CHED, ang CHED family, at sa ating distinguished sponsor din. Okay, so would the distinguished sponsor yield to some questions, Madam Speaker?
Willingly, Madam Speaker.
Yes, thank you po. So sa nakaraang interpellation po natin, Madam Speaker, sa SUC, so nakita po natin yung disconnect or masasabi ko siguro inversely proportional na sa pagdami ng mga estudyante, hindi naman tumataas o kinakaltasan pa nga yung budget sa ating mga SUCs. So, alam ko rin, ang CHED ay naging supportive din doon sa panawagan ng ating mga SUC para mataasan yung budget. So, tama po ba yung aking impression, Madam Speaker?
With due courtesy to our distinguished colleague, Madam Speaker, hindi naman po nakaltasan ang pondo ng Commission on Higher Education.
Ay, hindi po, yung mga SUCs.
Okay.
Mga SUCs.
Let me just also put it on record that the 2023 NEP of the Commission on Higher Education is 30,734,620 pesos. Ang NEP naman ng 2024 ay 30,987,092 pesos. Tumaas po siya. However, if we compare it to the 2023 GAA, ayun na po ang pondo na mas pinataas dahil may ibang mga ahensya na kinaltasan at nilagay sa edukasyon. Moving forward to SUCs, totoo po, marami po ang hiningi ng ating state universities and colleges. Gustuhin man ng pamahalaan at ng DBM na bigyan ang lahat ng hinihingi nila, medyo kulang po talaga ang pondo ng gobyerno. Be that as it may, we are also proud to say that upon examination, many of our SUCs have actually existing unutilized income. Kasi ibig po sabihin, kung totoong hirap na sila at hindi makasurvive, sana po pati yung income nila nawala na at bumaba na siya sa zero. But as the records show, almost all SUCs have existing and utilized income at patuloy po sila na nakakakuha ng income not only from government scholarships but from fees being paid by our students.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Medyo mas marami ang sagot, mas mahaba ang sagot ng ating sponsor dun po sa tanong ko. Baka maubusan na po ako ng oras dun sa iba kong mga tanong. Okay, so pwede ba mag-request na mas maikli? So ang tanong ko lang naman kanina ay yung, kumbaga po, tama po naman kayo kanina with the budget deliberation on SUC, may mga income na dapat pa natin yung explore. Pero kung gusto natin talagang seryoso tayo na mas makapag-access pa ng mas maraming ang mga estudyante natin sa mga SUCs, naniniwala ba kayo na dapat talagang dagdagan ang budget ng ating mga SUC? At naniniwala din po ba ang CHED na dapat itong gawin ng ating gobyerno?
Madam Speaker, distinguished colleague, ipagpaumanhin niyo po kung medyo mahaba ng konti ang aking kasagutan, but I have to lay down the facts and the figures to point to the reality na hindi natapyasan or kinaltasan yung budget. Tama, marami ang kailangan, pero kailangan rin po na hindi natutulog ang pera ng mga SUCs at ito ay ginagamit para po umiikot at nakakatulong sa ating ekonomiya.
Okay. Just the same po, Madam Speaker. Thank you po dun sa sagot. Pero hindi naman din yun yung in-expect ko at hindi yun responsive doon sa katanungan natin. So just the same po, kung talagang ang ating prinsipyo ay ang edukasyon ay karapatan, dapat ponduhan ito ng ating gobyerno ng sapat para po maging accessible ito sa lahat at hindi gumagawa ng iba't ibang mga pamamaraan ang ating mga SUCs ng mga opt-out, yung mga pinagabayad din ng mga tuition yung iba, etc. So yun lang din naman po ang point natin ng sapat para po maging accessible ito sa lahat at hindi gumagawa ng iba't ibang mga pamamaraan ang ating mga SUCs ng mga opt-out, yung mga pinagabayad din ng mga tuition yung iba, etc. So yun lang din naman po ang point natin. So kung may kinikita po yung iba't ibang mga SUC, siguro titignan din natin, i-rationalize din natin lahat ba talaga, 'di ba? Tignan natin sa Visayas region. Kung kumikita ba yung kanilang mga SUC, sapat ba ito na maipondo nila dun sa kakulangan at deficiency ng ating mga ng ating mga state colleges and universities. Okay?
If we are referring, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, Madam Speaker, Your Honor, sa operational cost ng ating state universities and colleges, masasabi po natin sapat ito dahil lahat nga sila may unutilized income, other universities even amounting to almost 500 million. However, on the capital outlay, kailangan po talaga silang madagdagan dahil hindi na sila makatanggap ng dagdag na estudyante dahil kulang po ng silid paaralan.
Yeah, that's my point. Kasi kung talagang gusto nating makapag-access more ng mga estudyante para sa ating mga state colleges and universities, so dapat ay nag-i-increase yung budget ng capital outlay para po madagdagan po yung mga facilities na pwedeng mag-accommodate. Siguro, dagdagan ko na rin yung mga positions din para sa ating mga faculty and mga non-teaching personnel. Do you agree with that?
We do not object to that, Madam Speaker, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you po, Madam Speaker. Doon naman po ako sa NBC ulit, NBC 461. So itutuloy ko lang po yung ating mga nasimulan kanina dun sa interpellation natin about NBC 461 and JC3. So kung titignan po natin, by the way, kailan po ba naipasa itong Joint Circular number 3 series of 2022?
Anong date? Sa 2022 lang. Anong date na ipasa? Joint Circular Number 3 of the DBM and CHED was passed on October 18, 2022, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, and that's correct. So, ang sabi po ng CHED, Madam Speaker, distinguished sponsor, nag-held daw po ng mga consultations ang CHED doon sa ating mga faculties, sa ating mga faculty members before issuing JC. Tama po ba? Doon sa briefing natin.
We confirm that, Madam Speaker, Your Honor.
So in contrast, maraming dinarinig po yun, yung briefing. At sinasabi po nung aming mga nakakausap na mga faculty organizations, faculty club, marami kasing mga nagrereklamo na before the budget hearings na ito, sabi ng isa, mukhang nagsisinungaling daw si Chief Commissioner Popoy about these consultations. There was no consultations on the faculty po.